Hi guys and welcome to a new video. In this video I want to show one of my recent rapid games where I played against a Fide-Master from Colombia and he really attacked me with all forces. I had a huge advantage, but things got really messy. So let's have a look at the game, which started with the Italian c3 variation. Knight f6, d4, white takes the center and black takes it. Now white can either take on d4 or play e5, which is my favorite move here, after which black is forced to play d5 not to be worse. Okay, bishop goes to b5, black still needs to retreat or remove the knight from f6, goes to e4 usually, takes, and now there is either bishop b6, which is the main line, or bishop b4 check, which my opponent went for in the game. White can play knight bd2 or bishop d2, which are both fine. I decided to go for bishop d2. He took, I took, and he castled. And here I need to make the first real decision. Do I want to take on c6? Do I want to castle first? Do I want to ask the bishop from b4 where it wants to go? And I decided to take on c6 and castle. This is not the only way to play, but I think this is always interesting as we create some weaknesses and immediately have some ideas to target some of the weak spots on the queen side. Also note that it's not so easy to play c5 because there is a3 as an answer and the bishop cannot really go to a5 because then we can take. And if the bishop takes on d2, okay, that's probably the best, but then I thought I at least split his pair of bishops. Okay. Also there is bishop a6, but we can play rook e1 and it's no trouble. My opponent played bishop g4, setting a threat of takes. I cannot take with the knight because it's pinned, and then disrupt my pawn structure on the king side, which I should prevent. And I played queen a4, quite a typical move, hitting those two weaknesses and also unpinning, so that bishop d2 can now be answered with knight d2. Not having any double pawns. My opponent, he cannot really defend both spots here. Also, the only try would be basically c5, but he cannot recapture because the queen is also looking to the king side and the bishop would drop. So he decided to play rook b8, protecting the bishop, giving up this pawn. And first I thought his idea would be, if I take, he takes here and he regains the pawn, but soon I realized that my position is really good here because the knight gets this excellent outpost while the bishop has no real outpost. If the bishop would ever go here, I could hit him with f3 and the bishop is not stable. Meanwhile, white can put pressure on the c-pawn as well. So white is a lot better there, but my opponent did have different intentions. He played rook b6 and I immediately realized he will swing the rook. Okay, I went back with the queen and he swung the rook to the king side. Now he has a threat of bishop h3, more or less winning an exchange. Maybe take here first and only after knight d2, bishop h3, and then, yeah, white has some trouble. So I decided to remove the rook so that this will not win an exchange. Also, it was possible to play king h1, but rook fc1 is fine. He decided to take and play queen g5. Again, he doesn't care, but of course I cannot take yet because my knight would drop. Okay, black also has a threat, bishop f5, threatening my queen and threatening checkmate. So I need to do something about it and I decided to go g3 because I need to go g3 anyway. If I do something else and he will move the bishop, I need to play g3. It looks kind of ugly because I weaken a lot of light squares around my king. But on the other hand, it's preventing all the threats for the moment. So let's see what he did. He played f6, trying to open the position further and include a fourth piece into the attack. Now I would love to take on c7, but it's not possible because my knight would still drop. So I decided to go f4 first, hitting the queen, and after queen h5 being able to take. So far everything was good and I didn't feel in danger, but after queen h3 I realized that this plan might create some trouble and I kind of panicked playing knight to f1, which is a terrible move. I wanted to protect this pawn in advance, but still, he can come here and he can threaten checkmate, and it's getting really dangerous. Instead, I should have covered the pawn with rook to c3. What's the difference? The difference is that now the knight is still covering the f3 square and also the e4 square. So the bishop cannot really get into the game easily, while the rook is doing the same as the knight would do on f1, covering the g3 pawn. Later I can try to attack and create my own play, but first I can cover this weakness on g3, but with the rook not allowing counterplay with bishop f3. Instead I got on the wrong track. Bishop f3, I need to prevent the mate, h5, and now I again misplayed the position, playing queen d6, after which h4 would have gotten me into trouble. However, my opponent wanted to stabilize his bishop first, attack my rook, and then play h4. But I had a surprising sacrifice, playing rook ac1, sacrificing the exchange because this bishop is just so good that he would probably never want to give it up. And also, we mustn't forget that white is already 2 pawns up, so that the exchange sacrifice would not really lead to a material deficit. In this situation, my opponent decided to take on e5, but I had prepared some tactical escape from the mess with queen to f8. He needs to take, and after rook c8, king e7, rook c7, it's black who needs to be careful, because he's kind of in a mating grid if he moves to the wrong square. For example, king f6, d takes e5, king f5, knight check, and rook e8 mate. So he needs to be really careful, and basically he mustn't go to any of the squares where I can take with a pawn, because with the pawn I can fulfill the mating grid. But instead he went here, and now I cannot really play for mate because my rook would be undefended, and I have no time for taking the pawn without a check because I made it myself. So I needed to give the perpetual, and the game ended in a draw. But this was very wild, and some crazy attack by black, but I could finally escape with an attack on my own. So that's it for this game. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you in the next video. Goodbye.